Power Book 4. I started to watch the premiere. This is the
I
only one of these urban black shows that I actually really do watch and enjoy out
What
of
does
the
that even
entire
mean?
series. It means exactly what I said it means. Urban black shows.
I feel like you're attacking me right now a little bit
I'm
with
not
like
I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the American pop culture that
urban black
calls it.
shows.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Heroes Peak podcast. I'm your host, Chris, with you as always, here to talk about entertainment, culture, and whatever the hell we feel like. And with me today to talk about whatever the hell I feel like, we're going to start with James. How you doing, James?
I'm doing splendid. For the first time in many weeks. Splendid.
That's good. That's good. That'll make you a better host when I come down to New York.
That is right. You are coming to the city that never sleeps, man. You ready for this?
I don't know. We'll see, because I sleep a lot. And
Oh man.
the person who won't be there is Brooksy. How you doing, Brooks?
I am great. I won't be in New York. I am in sunny Southern California where it was 81 degrees today.
I'm telling you, we're going to make it out that way, and then you're going to have to play host at some point.
I am
Yep,
looking forward to it. I love hosting. I love hosting in LA because I haven't lived here in like I did the math the other day, 26 years.
Wow.
Um I know. So I feel like I get to like rediscover the city I grew up in.
Nice.
So, yeah, 26
I
years
just,
by the
I
way.
just did the math in my head, and math is correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
Well, I went to New York City. I think I was like 12, maybe 13. Saw a few things. I know we did a trip in college. I don't remember exactly what we did. I remember our college van flying through very tight, very tight streets. You know those giant extended vans. That's about all I remember from that trip. I remember like a $30 cheeseburger or something weird. That's about it. This
A
time though,
$30 cheeseburger. That's expensive even now.
it was like this special 1 pound burger or something like that. Everybody, I don't know.
It
Maybe
was
like
called the tourist special.
Little Italy or some shit like that.
Who knows? Who
Because
knows?
tight streets and expensive sood for no reason. It sounds like that.
Well,
True. True.
this time should be more memorable. We are going. My daughter got her tickets to a Louis Tomlinson concert. If anybody watching knows who that is, I'll be surprised. But we are
Nope.
going to
I kept
Wicked.
saying it was Harry Styles.
He's
He
good.
corrected me.
Harry Styles adjacent Louis Tomlinson. And hey, Harry, if you're listening, show up. My daughter would love it. All right.
Wait, what? Where is the concert?
It better be.
Louis Tom Manhattan Center, Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh, Hamilton
Okay.
Ballroom.
And where are you
Okay.
guys staying?
Midtown. Two
Anybody who
blocks from
wants,
my corporate office building.
yeah, anybody who wants to stalk me at the City Club, you can stalk me at the City Club. But
Meet
I'll
him in the
probably
lounge. He will be signing merch and
I'll be signing merch
hanging
of
out here at
of,
Speak.
like, of one sweatshirt and some stickers, and I'll be
You
here to
get to
sign.
debate him in person about his terrible thoughts on The Last Jedi.
Oh, that would be fun. My wife, my wife might kill me if I sat there all night because I could do that too. And speaking of my wife, we are going to see Wicked on
Oh,
Saturday.
that's exciting.
That
I saw
is
Wicked on
exciting to me.
Broadway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that super excited. We're going to be talking some Shakespeare in a few minutes, but I was a theater kid in college and very excited to go see it. Haven't
Have you
been
read the
to it.
book?
My wife has. I haven't
Okay.
read it. I don't read books. No. Actually, I am reading one book right now, but that's besides another point. All right. All right. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about the tragedy of Macbeth over on Apple TV, and we're gonna give you guys some recommendations today. Some fun go see it recommendations. But we're gonna start in Shakespeare. Now, I have some Shakespeare experience. Like I said, I'm a theater kid in college. We did Midsummer Night's Dream and The Tempest. So I've done like spoken these words, but listening to them because I put my TV Roku. I can put on a headset so I can like blast the vocals because they were whispering their lines half the time. But I still didn't understand half of what was said. What did you guys think of sitting down and listening to actual Shakespeare? Which how long has it been? It's been 20 years for me. What about you guys?
Probably. I can't remember the last time I actively watched Shakespeare. I'm sure it was like Romeo and Juliet, probably in high school, to be
Mm.
honest. Um, I was not a theater major in college,
Mm-hmm.
thankfully. I can't act. But it's I don't even it's been a long time since I've like that's been like portrayed in a way that Shakespeare speaks, right? Wasn't there that Romeo and Juliet that was, I want to say like Kirsten Dunst was in it or something, but it was like a
No,
Yeah,
the
modern
Gwyneth,
version.
it
Gwyneth
was
Paltrow one.
no
No,
Leonardo
DiCaprio, and who was the
DiCaprio
female? Wasn't that
and
Gwyneth?
Kurt. It was no, it wasn't
I
Kirsten
think it
Dunst. What?
was
No,
Kirsten
it was
Dunst.
teenage life girl. What was her name? That was the name of her. My So Called Life. Do you remember that show? My So Called Life.
I
Oh,
remember
Claire
that.
Danes. Claire
Claire
Danes.
Danes. There you go.
I
Claire
loved my
Danes.
so-called life.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was and speaking of who did I just hear? Leguizamo. John Leguizamo was in that. He was a great in that one.
Oh,
He's Bruno in the new Encanto movie anyway. So yes, that was a great movie. What I like about stuff like that is the updating. They did a
mhm.
lot of modernizing production design to it. Do you guys remember my so no? Whew,
No.
I
Mhm.
reset. 10 Things I Hate About You.
I do.
That
That was
is
a
yes. So that was an update of Taming of the Shrew.
yes, that's right.
So you get these movies, modernizations or takes on Shakespeare. Uh, People talk about Lion King as a Shakespeare update. Even like some movies are just kind of in the style. Thor, Kenneth Branagh does Thor is one, but anyway, this is literally Shakespeare spoken, and
Right.
so it can be difficult if you're not like if you're not into it. It can be hard to just pick it up and just step in there.
I,
So,
I felt like, why are we doing this again? Do you
I
know what
think
I mean? Like,
anytime
I
I
feel like
see
it's been
Shakespeare,
done.
it's so an actor can say they did Shakespeare. Like that's what it seems to me.
Probably.
You know what? I think, and I remember this. So I'm not quite as erudite in Shakespeare as Chris, but
He
in
definitely
high
Googled that word
school,
before he used it.
no, it's in my lexicon.
It's in my
Um,
lexicon.
Also, that one.
off the dome, buddy, off the dome. I did take honors literature in high school. Brooklyn Tech, shout out,
Hey,
in
that would
sophomore
be two of
year.
us. I took honors literature too.
So my love for Shakespeare started and died that year. So I did a lot of Shakespearean plays, and my favorite was Macbeth. It was because I got to play Macbeth
Wow.
against a fabulous, very attractive young woman who was Lady Macbeth. Keith knows what I'm talking about. So that being the fact that after I left high school, I had no interest in Shakespeare. I did watch a lot of the reincarnations. I remembered in elementary school and high school watching the different iterations of Shakespearean movies that are coming out. And when you asked the question, I think Brooks was, why are we doing this again? I think it's because there's a new generation of people who don't want to watch the original black and white. Do you remember the original black and white Hamlet, or Othello, or like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff? No one watches that stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think and Denzel, fabulous
Oh yeah.
actor.
I believe he's
What's her
up for
name?
an
Who was
award for it. Is he up
he is
for an
He is
Oscar for it?
for, I don't know, Oscar or Golden Globe. Who's the woman that plays opposite him, Lady Macbeth, who got an Academy Award nomination for
Is it Frances
Chloe?
McDormand?
Yes, Frances McDormand. She's actually also an executive producer of it. So I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these people who come from the stage background, they want to redo this for the next generation of people coming up through fifth, sixth, seventh grade that have to, in American literature, we have to hit at some
They have
point
to sit through one.
Shakespeare. Got to go through it, and they don't want to bring the Claire Danes and Leo DiCaprio version of Romeo and Juliet. They want to bring whatever the modern version that can entertain these younger kids.
I see. I see what you're saying, but this, like, from a person who really appreciates production design, this thing
Hmm.
looked awesome. It had a
Hmm.
very particular, sleek, modern take. The black and
Hmm.
white design was awesome,
Definitely, yep.
but I don't see that. Like, I'm not going to put this in a high school classroom and expect the kids to be like glued to the TV.
Here's where I disagree. Even in our generation, we were getting the older version with
Hmm.
critically
Oh
acclaimed
yeah,
actors of the 50s and 60s.
where they
We
like had a
hated it too.
they had a video of the
Exactly.
stage, right? Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but now we're getting to see the guy who played Dr. Dre in the NWA movie. We
Yep.
get to see modern actors of this generation playing a tired role. The dialogue is still tired. I remember that because I had to memorize some of the dialogue. It's
Very
still
chatty. Everybody's
boring.
very chatty in
Yeah,
Shakespeare.
they go long monologues and soliloquies, and we get it. But you give me a higher production value instead of what you're talking about, where you can see the stage and everything in the curtains roll.
Yeah.
Then you know what? If I have to do it for a school project, I'm gonna put this version as opposed to the 1970 version or 1950s version.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, I guess if in a classroom you're not going to sit down for an hour and a half and play this out. You're gonna pick a scene and we're gonna discuss the scene and you're gonna understand the language and all that. And it is more interesting that way. It's very visually stunning. Black and white's kind of hot, like the Zack Snyder trying to release all this stuff in black
It's
and white,
back now. It's back
right?
now. Yeah,
So,
black and white's
but
back.
this, you can tell this was designed to be this way.
Mm.
Everything was crystal clear. Things were sharp white to sharp black and everything in between, but it was just beautiful to see. Like, actually, like, I'm laying there and I turn on the TV and I'm in bed, the lights are out, and I hit the thing and it like glows like the sun, bright white off my TV, and I'm like, ah! So it was funny to see, but cool. What what stood out to you guys, either actor, production, whatever, about the tragedy of
I think for
Macbeth?
me, it's the actress who played one of the three witches.
I think
I
she
had to
played
look
all
her up.
three of them, didn't she?
She did. She did. I had to look her up. She's actually a
I'm looking now.
well known stagecraft, physical auteur. She's very well known in the UK. She was
Incredible.
phenomenal. Like every scene that she
Uh,
was in, I was glued to.
Catherine Hunter played
Thank you.
the witches and Old Man. I found that funny when I saw her in the Old Man outfit.
Yeah, if you go down her IMDb and her Wikipedia, man, it's a lot of acclaim.
She was that was kind of the weirdest thing. Like when they first zoom in on her, and she's kind of wrapped in herself, right? She's got her leg over her head, and she's
Hmm.
she's spouting about. She lifts up that thumb in her toes. She's got the thumb of the sailor. You didn't see that?
I did.
I did see that part actually.
Yeah, and it's shocking. Like, whether you can understand the language or not, they did visually shocked you in some parts, and you're like, oh, that's a really cool setup. It almost felt like an Escher painting in some spots. Just
I
all
could
the
see that.
arches and all of the angles, and very purposeful, very very well put together. I mean, for all the great actors and stuff, the production, whoever did the production design, that person needs to win something.
By the way, she did win an award already through the New York Film Critics Circle Award for
Mm-hmm.
Best Supporting Actress in her role.
Right.
So,
Brooksy, what stood
you
out
know,
to you?
go ahead,
Oh,
Brooks.
sorry.
Sorry. No, no, go ahead.
Nothing. I I was gonna say nothing good. I did not enjoy this movie at all. Um, I actually did not like the black and white. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't have a reason why. I just it felt like I already have to listen to people talk in like Shakespearean English, and now it's black and white. I don't know. It I feel like I had the exact opposite reaction that you did, Chris,
No,
about this
I
movie.
I really I did not enjoy myself. Like
Oh,
I could like I can go to a modern art museum and I can go, oh, that's interesting. I appreciate the work that went into it. I know what's going on, but I probably won't enjoy myself as much as a classic museum with, Baroque art or whatever. You know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
as a production, as a theater person, as all that, like, my appreciation is way up here. Me sitting through listening to a soliloquy is like way down here. Like
Yeah, that's what I
modernize
was
it.
gonna
Give
say.
give
Like
me something
I,
fun.
I actually, I don't want to say enjoyed. I guess I want to say enjoyed. I enjoyed it first watch, first time, all in, and then when the credits rolled, I was like, okay, that's something I'm never gonna watch again.
Right.
But I had a good
That's true.
time. But I had a good time while I watched it.
No,
I
I
don't know
get it.
how to compare that to anything else.
it.
interesting.
Anytime I see Shakespeare, that's not like a live performance. Like there's something about a live performance of anything, but it's like I get it, but it's like done for the actors. It's done for the production crew. They love that stuff. Whatever. Like for entertainment purposes, for television, for movies or whatever, update it. Take that story, take that classic tale that, the great bard created and put some
You
modernity.
want them to Ryan Johnson Last Jedi the shit out of
I do. I
Macbeth, don't
do.
you?
I want to understand. Like,
Put that on a tweet. Look ahead.
yeah, it's like the way George Lucas went and he went, "Oh, these are some cool samurai things. These are some cool swashbuckling things. I'm going to make something out of it." Like I want the same thing with Shakespeare. I love 10 Things I Hate About You. I love the update of Romeo and Juliet, even though that was a little bit more classic English and stuff. They did some fun things with the modernization and whatnot. Um, like do that stuff. Make
I agree.
Show us how cool and inventive, like Shakespeare was so cool and inventive, and yet we're letting this thing sit in its time period instead of going, dude made up like words. He just made shit up and like stuck it in his plays. Like bring that forward. Be it as inventive as Shakespeare was being when he was writing it. I think uh, that feels more appropriate and more entertaining to me.
I agree with you, Chris. I would like to see a different take on Shakespeare. I feel like we've just seen it all. Like, I could not watch this whole movie. I felt like, I don't know, 10 minutes in and I wanted to commit suicide. I was like, this is, I just can't see this again. Like, I just feel like I've seen this movie, you've seen the same movie made over and over again. Like, do something
Right.
different with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whispering. We all know how much I fucking
Whispering.
hate it when
As
people
soon as
Hate
as
whisper.
that
soon as it
whispering.
started, like again, I turned on the TV and I'm like, what do they say? Ah, shit.
Yeah.
I had to put the
No,
headphones
I
on,
had the closed
volume
caption
up.
on. I had the captions on. So
Yeah, but it's just
Yeah.
it's cool. They had
alrighty.
some cool performances, great production. If you like Shakespeare, you're gonna love it. If you want to introduce someone to Shakespeare, show them a piece of it. It's cool, but for entertainment purposes, let's streaming is great because they can put stuff like this out. If this went to the theater, it would have bombed like mad, and everybody would have
No
been
way. No.
angry that people
It would
didn't
have.
go watch
They
Shakespeare.
never would have released it. They would probably release it in select theaters in LA and freaking
Right,
New York,
exactly.
and then that would have been that.
Yay for streaming.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay for streaming.
So at this point, do you guys want to grade? I mean, it's Shakespeare. What do you grade Shakespeare? Like it's
Uh,
Shakespeare. I'm not grading Shakespeare. You guys know what
I'm not
Shakespeare is.
grading it either. Yeah, I'm not grading it.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna do some recommendations, stuff we've been watching, stuff we've started watching, finished watching, just stuff we want to pass along to you guys that we might not get a chance to sit down and talk about. here on the show that we would like to, because there's so many. Like streaming has made it almost impossible to keep up with the
It's like
million
another
things.
job sometimes.
And sometimes it's almost impossible just to pick something to watch. Like my son has a Funimation account, who between
Mm-hmm.
Hulu, Netflix originals, and his Funimation account, like there's like 70 anime I have marked, and I'm like, I, I don't know, I just like don't know what to watch, and I'm glad you guys exist to keep me out of that instead of just being 100% enveloped in that.
And yes, our subscribers who are diehard anime fans, Chris will spend some time to watch some of these. As one already reached out to him on Twitter, he will take some time in the near future
Yeah,
to
yeah, I
watch a
really
few.
should. I gotta give some 1 minute
Give the people what they
recommendations or
want.
something in the future. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go first before I bombard the peoples with anime recommendations today. I'm gonna let Brixie go first. What have you been
That's fine.
watching? And what should
Okay.
the people watch?
I don't know if the people should watch this, but I'll tell you what I've been watching. Um, I I watch obviously I watch a lot of bad reality TV.
Hey,
I
whatever you
have
find fun.
I have been really obsessed with this season's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I feel like it is by far one of the best Real Housewives. Um, and there is a storyline where one of the women get arrested, Jen Shah, for I forget what she gets arrested for.
Public intoxication.
No, it's like a no, like the FBI comes and gets her.
Oh
It's like a
shit!
big,
That's got to
yeah,
be
yeah.
White
embezzlement. That's some
white collar
embezzlement shit.
crime. That's some
It's
white
in,
collar
it's
crime.
like embezzlement, or like she's like taking people's money, basically, like saying that some service is being provided, but it's not, and then taking money.
Yeah,
Um,
that's how they arrested some big religious cult dude that they've been trying to get him, because they were faking food stamps. Like they were faking and stealing everybody's food stamps. So that's how they arrested some of these people. You know, they
wow.
they they get themselves in trouble by taking government money and not realizing that the government will come and get you.
Yeah. Well, they come and get like actual poor people that steal food stamps, so they
They'll
should
do
come
that
and
more
get
often than the rich people. But yeah,
it.
if they
Right.
want you for other crimes, they're more than willing to use that against you.
Shit.
Right. That's true. Yeah, so Salt Lake, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I haven't really been watching any of the other housewives. Like I stopped watching Orange County. I stopped watching Beverly Hills. Still super into Potomac though. Potomac and Salt Lake are like my number one and two, and then Atlanta, of course. That's just like, you know, the good old Atlanta. I never watched New York, and I have not watched Dallas.
Never watched New York. Wow. Okay.
Never
That's
watched
the
New
only
York, which
one.
is
That's the
surprising.
only one I've ever. That in New Jersey, only two I've ever
Yeah.
watched. But go
I
ahead.
say I've watched New Jersey a couple of seasons off and on. Now there's I watched the table flip, of course. Now I think there's a Miami, which I have not seen. I don't know if I can
To
do that to
Miami.
myself. The other reality show that I have been super into is Summer House, which is um, a bunch of like I think like 20, maybe they're like in their 30s now because we're on like season 6 or 7 at this point.
Mhm.
Late 20s, early 30s, people that work in New York City. They rent a summer house in the Hamptons together, and so it shows their adventures at the house every weekend, basically.
Interesting.
Um, it's like as
This is on
typical.
Bravo. This is on Bravo too.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So it feels like all the people that I used to work with back in New York, like a lot of those, they're all like young and single, or maybe I think one or two of them are in a relationship, but none of them have kids. They're all young and single, and they all just like get really drunk and hook up all weekend and go to all the Hamptons parties. And like this is what I feel like half of my office used to do basically every summer.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, imagining what they, watching my office essentially. But it's super dramatic and It's really dumb, and I fucking love watching it, and I don't know why. So I would recommend that Summer House. Um, and then the other two shows that I'm into, well, not two, I guess it's more than two shows, but two, like, so whatever. I watch Law and Order SVU. There's a
Hmm.
new season out. I
Yep.
never
Yeah.
watched the regular Law and Order somehow. I don't know how. But my boyfriend is a big Law and Order fan, so he got me on SVU. He loves Olivia. He's like obsessed with her. Um,
Sounds
and
like he
now
should be on the show.
maybe. They did used to film Law and Order in my neighborhood all the time though. So I would watch them filming it all the time, but I never like watched the show, which I don't know why because it's really good. And then there's also another like spin-off of Law and Order, which is Organized Crime. So we're on season
Mhm.
2 of that.
That's
So I've
that's
been
a new
watching
one.
that.
Yeah, it's a new one.
It is. Yep, season 2, super interesting. It's like a crossover. So Olivia makes a lot of appearances. Um, and then what's the dude's name? Stabler. Stabler goes back to SVU
He's
sometimes.
back.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a crossover show, and I love, I don't know, it's like fun to watch. I like seeing that because they're in both the regular SVU and then the organized crime. Um, and then the other show that I've been watching, which I don't know what season, oh, 4 seasons apparently, is FBI. I don't know if you guys
Oh, we
watch
just
that.
started watching that.
Ah,
We've been
that's
watching that.
hilarious. I didn't
Uh,
realize that Chris was watching that until I made some comment
Oh, yeah,
a
because
couple of weeks
we
ago.
always, me and my wife, we always have a procedural that we watch. So like we were on Castle for all whatever 10 seasons that was, and so we always have something. Like my wife watches all of the SVUs.
yeah.
Like I haven't watched those in a while, but yeah, we just started FBI. We really like that the main guy, the tall dude. What's his name?
OA
Yeah,
Oh,
or
wait.
yeah, yeah,
So the main
OA.
show, the flagship show, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's the flagship and then there's another one, right? So
There's
OA
two
is like,
more. There's two more.
and then there's what's the dude's name?
International. There's international.
And
Which
National, and then what's the other one with the dude that used to be on Nip Tuck? Also, Doctor
yeah,
Doom, that terrible.
yeah. He is.
Oh
I hate
yeah.
his character so much. I can't think of it.
He's leaving the show. But
Yeah,
what
okay.
is that show called?
I
Most
watched that
Wanted.
one too.
FBI
Most
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 Wanted.
Wanted.
Wanted. Most
Most Wanted.
Wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. So I watch all three, and again, there's like crossovers, like on Most
Yes.
Wanted, and then International. There's a lot
Yes.
of crossovers, which I'm
Yep.
super into.
Wow.
And
We could have done that as a podcast. But go ahead.
well, I don't. I just that I would highly recommend FBI. I think it's really well done.
It
IMDb
is
gives
really
it a
good.
6.9 out of
That's
10, which
actually on my list.
I
That was one
disagree
of
with.
yeah. That was on my list at the bottom.
Um, and then the other dude, oh, Jubal. That name makes me laugh. Jubal's like the boss in the
He's good.
FBI
He's
room.
fun. Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah,
I like it. I think his character plays. They play him a little too manic. Like, and most of
yeah,
these shows, by the way, on CBS are like they're in a big tank, high IT room. That all right, first we
right,
gotta be VIN number in the car. What do you have? Oh no, no, no.
right.
Okay,
Right.
what about you? It's like it's way too manic for him. His character sometimes they need to dial
But
him
it's
back
like
down.
I'm like into that was a really good impression. I feel like you may have been on one of the shows as like a back like person in the back cast member. Um, but I'm like kind of into how just that like stream of thought of like, okay, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, and then they can like pull everything up and do it in real time.
Right. Yeah.
Like when you actually watch it happen, because I believe that that is how things can happen. I'm sure that's not how like the
Listen, I think
NYPD
that's a
is.
CBS thing because I used to watch Hawaii Five O, which is probably one of the original ones. The reboot Hawaii Five O that was popular about 10 years ago. And that's how they used to start their show on solving a crime. There was a room and a table. There was a little
Yeah,
IT, and then like people would come in and have a conversation about, oh, this is what we found, and then some random person would walk into the conference room, and be like, I got the like continue the conversation as if they were there. I'm like, where were you? Like, how did you hear it from the elevator what they were talking about? And all of these
right.
shows now, like FBI, they've taken that and it just like ramped it up a little bit more.
All right, James. Why don't you hit us with some of your
Shit.
recommendations?
For for brevity's sake, I'm gonna have to run through a lot of these and just
Right.
focus on the
And
ones that
thank
I
you,
think.
Brooksy. That was it was a good setup.
So starting from bottom, I did had FBI. I had the main show. I didn't have the FBI International or Most Wanted. Um, Keenan, Keenan on NBC. I think it's a show that Mike and I both watch. It stars Keenan from SNL. He plays the role of a widower. His wife had recently passed away. He's got two daughters. He's a very successful TV show anchor in Atlanta, and it, basically, while he's coming through the passing of his wife, he's got his two girls. His brother, who's also his manager, decides to move in to help him raising the girls, and his father-in-law, was played by Don Johnson, because apparently his wife was biracial, is the grandfather, and he moved in as well. He's retired, so it's basically my three dads and two girls, and Keenan, one of the three, kind of stuff like that. So there's a lot of shenanigans in the show because it's not just a family, but also the TV crew. There's the head producer. I forgot this black actress name, Sora. She's great. There's a heavy set white female who plays a role of like someone who's considered to be a very aggressive lesbian. But she plays it
These
really well.
descriptions of people are definitely not PC, by the way.
I'm just telling you the roles that they seem to play. She's a great actress as well. So I recommend that show. Let me fast forward through some of these. Next Level Chef. It's on Fox, starring
Gordon Ramsay.
Chris's favorite Gordon Ramsay. It's just another version of reality, and I'm a sucker for those. Like Brooks,
Love
you're a
those
sucker for
things.
bad reality and like Housewives. I'm a sucker for bad reality cooking shows. Like the freaking the trick for this one is next level. Literally means there's like three levels of kitchens: the Class A kitchen, the mediocre, average size restaurant kitchen, and then like South
My
Central
home kitchen.
America. Not even worse than that, Frankenstein kitchen. And you get split into teams, and depending what team you're at, you're one of these levels. And the top chef will get like the lobster and risotto and
No,
whatever.
it's a big giant like area
Yeah,
of
it's a
food
big
that just comes down.
elevator. Yeah, it comes down, and by the time it gets to you, lima beans maybe might be there, and like whatever, and you got to make a freaking entree that's gonna wow the Gordon Ramsay and two other chefs. That's it. That's the gimmick.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker
it's all
for it.
the same but a gimmick, and it we watched it. It's all right.
American Auto, also on NBC. It's another 30-minute
I
show. I,
wait, I watched 2 episodes of that and did not love it.
why not? Why? ¿Por
I don't know. I
qué?
thought it was like trying to be funny, and there was like I got like a couple of laughs, but it wasn't like
It's like, and I've never watched The Office, but everyone who's watched The Office and watched this show tell me it's like another version of The Office.
I've
Oh, no
also
wonder
Michael,
I don't
never
like
seen
it.
yeah,
The Office and heard that same
and
thing.
then that other show, Superstore, that came out last year. It's like another version of that too, which I haven't watched, but I like that show. Power Book 4. I started to watch the premiere. This is the
I have
only
not
one of
watched it.
these urban black shows that I actually really do watch and enjoy. Out
What
of
does
the
that
entire
even mean?
series, it means exactly what I said it means. Urban black shows.
I feel like you're attacking me right now a little bit
I'm
with
not.
like
I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the American pop culture that
urban black
calls it.
shows.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Um, the Cleaning Lady on Fox. This one is a
I've
little
been
bit
interested
weird.
to start that.
I think the actress who played Elektra in Daredevil, and the Defenders, that terrible Defenders series,
The
she's
Defenders.
great to watch on screen. It's just the show is just poorly written, very basic.
Is
Her
she
story
is
is great.
is
Yeah,
she a cop or is she like
no. So
fall
the
into this?
story is basically is she used to be a doctor in Cambodia, and her son contracted a rare immunity disease, and there was the only donor out of like 12 million people was an American citizen, played by the actor, Hispanic actor. No, oh, God, Dirty Dancing, La Bamba. What's his name? That actor.
Lou Diamond
Lou
Phillips.
Diamond Phillips. He was the guy who had the bone marrow to donate, and apparently he quit at the last minute. He decided to give up because his wife died in the hospital. So while she's trying to get the donor, she got caught in a execution style at a warehouse. She was cleaning. She was the cleaning lady.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that she was a doctor and knew how to get rid of the evidence for the mafia, they decided to keep her on payroll to clean all the other. Now the
She's a
FBI is
cleaner.
onto her. Yeah, so the FBI is onto her, but they're like, wait a minute, how is she able to afford like the doctor's help for her kid? So it's like a bunch of stories. It's not cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the actress. Like she's a dynamite actress. She's
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like her character in Daredevil, but she's a phenomenal actress. So I watch each episode now just because of her performance. All right, fast forward again. Resident Alien. That's a show that Mike and I watch on Sci-Fi. We're gonna have a quick peek about it soon, so I'm not gonna get into that. Boondocks. It's a show that Keith and my daughter Serena has been beating me in my head to watch. I
Is that
I
the
finally
animated
watched.
one?
believe
Yes,
that you have never seen this show. This show has been on for like 20 fucking
Is
years,
that
James.
are we talking about
yes.
the animated one?
And half the people that were on the show are dead now. By the way, the voiceovers.
Probably because it's been on for so long.
Yeah,
How
Charlie
have you not seen
Oh,
the
Murphy.
show?
Who else? I think Sam Jackson's the only one that's still alive out of everybody that did a voice.
No, no.
it's
There's
still
who
alive.
does Huey's voice? He's still alive.
Regina King's alive, but her, yeah, never mind. So, Boondocks, I recommend it. I'm 7 episodes deep. It grew on me really well. So shout outs to Keith and Serena.
I
Snowpiercer and Brooks. Apologies. Shout out to the queen of the pod.
it is Regina King does Riley and Huey's voice. I didn't realize she did both of them.
Me neither. Snowpiercer. It's a show Mike and I watch. Also, we'll be doing a quick peek on that. Great show on TNT. Superman and Lois, another show that Mike and I watch. We'll be doing a quick peek on that. All right, now we get to the five that I really
You
want to
guys
focus on real
watch your
quick.
shows together and hold hands.
From Toronto to New Jersey, that's impossible. The Bachelor. It's a show that I used to watch with my daughter Serena, and it's been tough now watching it together since she's in college. I still watch it, and then we like text each other about it. This current season features was probably the worst Bachelor. This dude looks like a freaking robot. Um, I'm not into the opposite sex, but he seems to be so unattractive. Um, in fact, so if you guys probably heard about the controversy with the original Chris Hart, who was the host, he came out and supporting a former MAGA contestant. So controversy ensued. ABC decided to fire him. So since then, there's been 3 seasons of the show, including Bachelor in Paradise, where they've rotated different hosts, like Chris Spade. What's his name?
So wait
I'm
a
Rich
minute. I
Bitch.
have a clarifying question.
Yeah,
So one of the bachelors was a MAGA supporter.
it was actually a Bachelorette. I'm sorry, on one of the shows with the Bachelor 2 seasons ago. It was the Black James, the Black Bachelor, the first one. On his show, one of the final, actually, she made the final contestant. She won the final rose. She wound up coming out that she was in one of those Civil War antelope dressed outfits,
Oh,
Confederate
like
flag,
she
all
wait,
that
like
stuff.
she
Like she was
was
like daughters of the Confederacy.
Correct.
Daughters of the Confederacy.
So all
was
that
she on
stuff.
was she at the Capitol on January
No,
6th?
she wasn't at the January 6th. But the point is, the evidence came out after the show was already started airing, and he already selected her. So when the final reunion came, there was a big powwow. Who's the black former football player who was on ESPN, Nigerian
Michael
football player?
Jordan?
I think he went Ivy League school. He was chosen to be the host for that particular episode, which I thought was dumbfounded by ABC. Oh, let's bring the black actor who's so well spoken to kind of like orchestrate this conversation. So ultimately, they want to break it up because he was like, "There's a lot about my culture that you still don't understand, and you need the time to go do that research. Until then, our relationship can't move forward." And he did that during the reunion. So since then, ABC's been very careful on bringing contestants and hosts to kind of like be a little more diverse. Little John, which I thought was a terrible selection, but he
That's
was a
weird.
host for
He's
a little
also
bit.
Lil John, not Little John.
Little John. What did I say? I said Little John. Did I pronounce the
You
TLE?
did.
I don't think I
You
did.
did.
I can see Mike splicing and editing that. CWDC Legends. Mike and I watched that. All right, so these last two, real quick. I know we're running along on time. 911 Lone Star. I did watch the regular 911, which I love Angela Bassett. I'm a huge fan of hers. But that show seemed to have been Yeah, that show's dying. It's dying. I mean, characters on the show also dying. It's a different story. Um, but Lone Star, I definitely like Lone Star. I recommend that highly. It's also on Fox. It features my favorite bandwagon fan with the Rob Lowe with the NFL hat, playing the fire chief, and it's a cool cast of. All right, so this one deserves some acclaim for trying to be diverse but doing it right organically. It's a trans male, black woman turned to man. There's I believe she's Pakistani or Iranian firefighter who has to wear her job the whole time. There's a gay, the son of Rob Lowe, gay white male who plays an EMT. There's two Hispanic women, and there's the token white guy. He's actually the only one from Texas. Everybody else was transported there. Because so how the show started, the original firefighters, their house, all got destroyed in a massive explosion. I mean, no laughs were intended. So only one guy survived, and he having PTSD. So Rob Lowe came from New York, 9/11 survivor. He had cancer, whatever, and he resurrected this house. But he imported different people who were on the outskirts of getting into the fire department because of race, religion, sexuality, all that stuff. Um, and then, of course, the actor who's playing the lone survivor used to be in True Blood. Really tall white guy. He's got the Louisiana accent. He's a little bit like, hey, this is my house. Who are these people? And eventually he gets a warm heart, and then they all family. It's a good show. I think this is one of the few shows that do organic diversity and inclusion, where it feels like, okay, this could make sense in the real world. Other than the firefighting stuff that sometimes is out of control, like
The superhero
like
firefighting.
yeah, like that stuff is out of control. But like the chemistry between the people in the show feels legit.
Mhm.
And then last is the final season of Blackish. This season, all the seasons of Blackish I've watched. I've really loved every season. I loved all the, even the dark season where it looked like Anthony Anderson and what's her name, Ross, Tracy Ellis Ross, were out on, they're about to split. The kids were having issues and all the stuff that was happening. They actually intertwined Black Lives Matter and George Floyd protests, the pandemic, real life stuff that was happening. They actually married that into the show, which I thought was very, very well put together. This season now is their final season. Curtains called. They already had Michelle Obama's already been on. There's a few other big stock cameos that are slated for this final season. It's a great show. It looks like they're going out at a high. They're not letting the show go to the point where it's all right. Now it's getting stale. Like how many different versions can we have with grandma and grandpa are in the house or not together? Blah blah blah. Lawrence Fishburne. The kids are now way grown. The little girl and little boy look like they're like LeBron. LeBron James over here in the house. So yeah, that's my final list.
Wow. We watch a lot of stuff, don't we? It feels once you sit down and start making lists, you kind of look at yourself and go, "What do I
It's like a
do?"
second job. Yeah.
Sitting down. All right. So, like I said, mine's mostly going to be just an anime list. So, anybody who's interested in picking up some, I'll have some for you. But before that,
Now you can see the if you're watching the podcast like Needle anime.
actually, before that, though, I'm going to give a recommendation from Mike, who did not text me, but it's something he mentioned the other night that he was watching. And I did watch an episode of it, and that's Murderville. Murderville over on Netflix. It's a like a guest celebrity improv murder mystery show. So Will Arnett and Hanifa Wood are like they have this police station set up, like they're characters that are constant for the show, and they bring in a guest celebrity. So I watched Conan O'Brien come in as Conan O'Brien. Yeah, Marshawn Lynch is in episode 2, and they walk that celebrity. They have them play the part of a guest inspector, and they walk them through a crime scene they bring in people to interview or at the police station or at the, that stuff, and then that person has to try to solve the mystery by the end of the show. So It's a fun improv comedy show if you like murder mystery and a little bit of light fun comedy. Uh, I'd suggest it. Go take a look at it. It's fun on Netflix. Um, I had a good time with that first episode. Conan O'Brien's always funny. All right, out of the animation. Woo-hoo. So there, I'll start over with the expected things. So Demon Slayer, for my money, uh, probably the big three right now: Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, and Jujutsu Kaisen. I watch all three of those. I have not caught up on all of them. I'm caught up on Attack on Titan, but Demon Slayer is consistently the best looking of any anime I watch. Like seriously, it's beautiful, well colored, well animated, well designed. Characters are fun, poppy,
Chris, would you
interesting.
say that it's probably the most popular one right now globally? Because that's
Globally, probably, because Mugen Train, which we watched and we reviewed last year, uh,
Mhm.
is like the biggest ever
All right. Yeah, you're right. You're
box
right. You're right.
office in
You're
Japan.
right. You're right. My bad. My bad.
So that thing like blew up. And
I keep forgetting just because it's very popular in America doesn't mean it's popular in Japan and the UK and South
but yeah,
America.
Mugen Train is broke box office records in Japan. So
Yeah.
Demon Slayer is probably, it's also I think the biggest selling manga, um, outselling every American comic book individually. It just is, it's a monster, um, and for good reason. It's a cool story. Go watch season one. This is season two. Season two is called the Entertainment District. On Hulu, it's actually it's a separate thing. It doesn't fall under Demon Slayer. You know how normally you have season one, season two, season three. I had to find it elsewhere. So you look up Demon Slayer, you'll find season one, you'll find Mugen Train, and you'll find
Is that
Entertainment
on?
District.
Sorry, is that on Netflix or Funimation? I
Hulu.
don't know if I heard.
It's
Oh,
also on
Hulu.
Funimation, but it's on Hulu. I'm watching all of these ones I'm going to mention on Hulu. It's just beautiful to watch. It's colorful, it's bright, it's poppy, it's fun, and it's got the best action animation bar none. I don't care what people say about Attack on Titan. This is the best animation.
Attack on Titan.
So, yeah, if you want the most popular one for a reason, Demon Slayer, Entertainment District arc is the new one. It's only the second season. It's easy to catch up if you want. There's only one season in a movie. The other one, Attack on Titan, final season part two. This is also very big, one of the top three. Um,
Definitely huge.
this is huge. It is very online. Like if you go on Twitter, this thing is popular. People will
You
talk
go
about
on
it a lot.
other YouTube channels.
Other
Everybody's got a
YouTube channels, it's
reaction.
huge.
Like
Um,
I'm waiting for Chris to have a reaction so we get 100,000 views as well.
it is so hard to review Attack on Titan because number one, it's very
Really?
depressed. It's so
Let me look at the
it is
list
so
of.
it is so depressing to
You
watch.
mean
Number one,
emotionally hard?
it is
Okay,
the
gotcha.
most depressing thing.
That
Number
is true.
two, I don't fucking understand this storyline completely yet, and it.
All right, we'll get Eric here on a quick
I'm
review
gonna
of
put
it.
it this way. So, what did I write down? Okay, so there's a ACDC song called "Who Made Who," right? From, you guys remember in the '80s, a ACDC song, "Who Made
I
Who."
remember the band.
You
Yes,
remember ACDC, but the song specifically.
Yes,
But
but not the
basically,
song.
like
not the
the
song.
enti-
No.
the entirety of this last season, and they split the final season into two parts. We're just getting into part two. Part one's already been out, but it's basically a who made who, who's the evil. Like you'll think, oh, these are the bad guys. No, these aren't the bad guys. Oh, maybe these are the bad guys. No, these aren't the bad guys. Nobody's a
Mm,
bad guy. Everybody's a bad guy. Everybody's killing
I like
people.
that
No,
mind fuck.
nobody's a bad
Yeah,
guy. Yeah, it's really wild about um it,
it's good. I've watched
yeah,
most
it's
of the
good.
first season. It is depressing. Yes, I
It's
agree.
depressing.
It's
The
depressing.
story isn't difficult, but it's just because it keeps it keeps you on your toes about
It
who you
keeps
think
you.
is
If
a good guy and a
you
bad guy.
emotionally invest yourself in a character, and then boom, you
They'll
get
kill
nut
them.
punched.
They'll kill that character. Don't get emotionally invested in anybody. They'll kill
Yeah,
them.
get punched in the uterus.
So yeah. Attack on Titan final season part 2, of course. The other big name, Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm watching over on Funimation. I have not caught up on that recently, so I'm not really going to talk about it. I think it is. I love. It's fun. It's a great anime. If you enjoy a more modern character piece, whereas all these other ones are very a time and place, like Demon Slayer is like 20s Japan, and Attack on Titan is some like mythical island, but seems like 1840s France or something weird, like steampunk 40s France or something weird like that. But the Jujutsu Kaisen is a modern anime in a modern place in modern Japan, with a modern kid with good characters, great designs, great action design. Jujutsu Kaisen, definitely something to go watch. All right, so now that I'm done with the big three, we can talk about some ones you may have seen, may have heard of, but don't know if you want to watch them. So this is really what I have more fun talking about than the big ones you can listen to 800 people tell you to go see Jujutsu Kaisen. Um, let's start with Sunny Boy, Sonny, Sunny Boy on Hulu. This thing is a little bit weird. Think Alice in Wonderland, but like an entire high school, actually middle school. I think it's in middle schoolers. Maybe it feels like a philosophy major on a drug trip, remembering their middle school days. Like it is a real head screw. The basics of the story is an entire school gets lost in an alternative dimension. Some of the kids get superpowers along the way, and the superpowers aren't necessarily like only like one kid gets what you would consider like a Superman type superpower. Everybody else gets really weird and kind of almost philosophical level powers. But like one person has the ability to duplicate things, but one per and then they go to these weird different dimensions. Like one dimension where you can't, if you take something of somebody else's without paying for it, it disappears. So it really covers these kind of cool philosophical ideas of what school kids might go through. Um, there's one area where kids who aren't noticed disappear. Like literally, the
Oh
kids will
shit,
just
that's scary.
disappear and they can't find
That's
them.
fucking scary.
But it's because no everybody, like the kids are walking around asking, "Have you seen so and so?" They're like, "I don't know. I never talked to the kid. He never talks to anybody," and they literally disappear. So it's an interesting way because they do that almost like Lord of the Flies idea. What happens if you trap a bunch of kids together, but now you give a couple superpowers, and so now all of a sudden they become default leaders. But then you find out some other kids have superpowers, but they're not the same. And
Wait,
then
this is all still anime?
this is called Sunny Boy. This is one anime,
Okay.
and it's a bit slow. This thing, there's no action in this. This is not an action. This is a just a straight drama adventure series. The animation style, the art style is very simple with some cool flashy individual pieces, but other
Mhm.
than that, it's very simple, very direct. You'll get weird stuff like monkey baseball will appear in one episode for no reason.
Sure.
The physical embodiment of war will appear. Why? Just because that's what they thought of. So it's a real interesting head game of a anime. It's only 12 episodes. It's a pretty fun watch. Uh, my last Hulu recommendation is Akudama Drive. Akudama Drive
I
is
think I've heard
a
this one.
violent fish out of water heist fun thing for the first half, and then it gets really it goes a little experimental, government corruption, evil scientists experimenting on children in the second half. So it kind of has this kind of life of two different, feels like two different stories, but they kind of meld together. They find a way to do it. Akadama Drive, also only one season. I'm recommending stuff that's pretty quick. No really long extended animes. I guess Attack on Titan's several seasons long, so I guess you could say that's the longest one here. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to say it. Now that we're moving over before that, My Hero Academia season 5.
Oh, there we go. My ears perked up.
My Hero Academia season 5. I can't believe I forgot this one. This is probably would make the Four Horsemen of the anime. Um, it really, I have barely started this season, so I can't really speak about what this season is about. But it is a big
It's
another one
long. It's
with a.
another long
It's
slow
five
burn.
seasons, but it is not something that you have to wade into. It is in your face through the whole thing.
I
I
think this is the one of the ones that somebody like Brooks would find entertaining because of the colorful characters and um
I don't know. I It depends if you can get through um the initial uh Daku's initial character arc of being feeling insufficient in to become a
yeah,
superhero.
it's like
Like
the popular kids in high school and there's one little nerdy kid who doesn't feel like he belongs and he's got to
it
find himself and be confident.
mhm. But it's a world in which every a
Uh,
certain percentage of the population, a high percentage of the population, I think it's like 80%, have some kind of weird superpower, but there's 20% of people who don't have that. So all of the cops are superpowered cops, all of the criminals are superpowered criminals. So can you imagine being a normal person in that world? You would feel really left out.
yeah.
So but
I think
Deku
you
gets
should give that
superpowers.
show. Yeah, I would recommend you, Brooks, and the boyfriend to give season one, the first arc, a shot. The first was it, 6 episodes, I think. First arc,
All right.
and
So
they're
now
30 minutes. 30 minutes with subtitles though. You got to put subtitles on.
I'd
Okay.
be interested in a couple of different types of anime. Her response, but I don't know if I could get her to watch that much.
I don't think she's watching
Like
Attack on
Sunny
Titan.
Boy, like me describing Sunny Boy seemed to perk your interest a little bit. I was
Okay.
interested. Anyway,
Maybe.
so
Maybe.
Netflix does a lot of their own uh, anime releases, animation releases, and so
Isn't it not called
it,
anime because it's not from Japan?
it is anime because they actually use Japanese studios.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, the three I'm going to
Local.
talk about, two are Japanese. One is actually Chinese. Interesting. Uh, so Ajin. I just started this one. It's interesting because it's like a supernatural body horror kind of a um, show. I didn't haven't gotten far enough into it to really say whether I like it or the story's super interesting, but I thought it was a really interesting premise. Um, and take a look at it. Respond if you're watching this. Respond. Tell me what you think. Um, uh, the the Orbital Children. This one's really interesting because this one's a nice light sci-fi adventure. So if you have kids, this one's a good one. Um, Basically, there are children who are born in space, and there are children born on the Earth, and they're basically trying to get all of the kids out of because there was a disease that killed most of the kids that were born in space,
Was it
and
called COVID?
they got COVID. No, basically, once you went through puberty, space killed you. Basically, I don't know what it was.
Fun. Okay.
Only two kids survived, and now there's
Space COVID.
some weird supernatural stuff happening, and you got the some Earth kids and these space kids, and they've got little robot friends, and they're really cool, and it's a fun little adventure show. I like it. I like the animation quite a bit. It's fun. It's interesting. It's good to look at. Um, and none of the kids are overly annoying, but they all feel rather natural.
Mm.
They're the most interesting one that I've watched recently, and this is the last one I'll talk about. And this one's called Scissor Seven. This is the Chinese animation. My son introduced
Sorry,
this to
something
me.
totally different popped in my head when you said scissor seven.
Nice. So no, this is
What was that, James?
Nothing, nothing.
so Scissor Seven. This is a goofy action comedy animation show, and
Okay,
uh, it's a lot of fun. The art style is dynamic. It's very individual. It's kind of almost scribbly a little bit. The lines move quite a bit, but also the action is they put a lot of time and effort into the action animation. So if you love action animation, go take a look at this. But also it's fun. Um, the main character is trying to become an assassin, but he's not good at it because he doesn't want to kill anybody. So he takes he like takes jobs to like one of his jobs he takes for money is someone wants to ruin somebody's wedding, so he's supposed to go in and cut the bride's hair during the wedding, but he fails this task, so he cuts everybody's hair at the wedding, and it's just kind of set up like a little comedy skit. It's fun. He has a superpower where he can control a pair of scissors, so he uses his chi to control his special scissors that can cut through anything. He's
But
he's got
not bright hair, apparently.
he's got a companion who's a chicken, and his chicken is the boss. And his chicken has a smaller chicken that can transform into a giant muscle body man with a tiny chicken head. Um, and he's got these special eggs that can turn the main character, because he's trying to be assassin, it can turn him into anything he wants to be. So like he has to go he's supposed to assassinate this the head of the dog gang, so he turns himself into a dog, and he
infiltrate.
infiltrates
Nice.
the dog gang, only to find out that the dog is actually in love with a cat. And then
What the fuck?
it's a lot of fun. It's actually super funny, uh, and it's
Was this
fun
one
to
of the
watch.
American written ones? This is one of the American
No,
written
this
ones,
is
right?
Chinese. I
Oh,
told you
Chinese.
this is Chinese,
My bad.
and so it's a lot of fun. It's a little it's pretty goofy, but when it gets to the action bits, it really hits them hard. Great animation and great fun all the way around. So Scissor Seven, I would definitely suggest Scissor Seven for a fun one. So that's my current anime watch list. There's a couple I have. I'm not gonna spend any time on. Um, but if anybody has any questions or wants more recommendations, I'm more than happy to pass them along. I watch this stuff, as you can see, pretty
We
constantly.
have
A lot.
no lives, none
No
at
lives.
all.
Yeah,
I
I should.
recommended 4 TV shows, by the way. I do have a life. I just want you all to know.
Okay,
Yeah,
she has a
no,
life. The rest of
I
us, no lives.
yeah, my list is pretty large. I can't. I didn't realize how much I watched until I kept started keeping track of it.
I mean, I had to look at my. I was gonna say DVR, but Brooks would make fun of me again. I looked at my Verizon Files server, one of two
Hmm.
servers, to see what series I have recorded, and I had a lot of shows that some of them I actually do watch, like a lot. Not including what we watch for the podcast. And I'm sitting there like, wow, it's like a whole other person that lives this life.
Yeah, like we have what we have watch for the podcast. I have what I watch with my family, which is usually cooking or competition shows or stuff like that. I have what I watch with my wife, which is cop shows or police detective, that kind of stuff. Then I have what I watch when no one else is around, which is I just watch my
Whoa, 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 whoa! Still keep it family friendly.
I watch the
Six or
anime watch
seven, is
list.
that what you watch when no one's around?
I know, like
I'm
OnlyFans,
not that
Pornhub.
interesting. I just watch animated stuff. All right. and then we all work. Trust me, I do. I actually work 40 hours. You wouldn't know it, right?
Must be nice.
True.
Wow.
Um,
So this went a little bit longer than we probably expected it to be.
it did. There's
This is
only
going to
three
be a
of
quick.
us. All right,
Um,
so I'm going to run through the outro. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in. Uh, if you're new, please hit the subscribe button, the thumbs up icon, and the notification bell. If you're not new, do so anyway. Hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up button, and leave a comment. This was a heavy, heavy, heavy information worthy episode. So I expect to see tons of comments about FBI, that show is trash, or whatever, or I don't agree with this anime selection, or technically anime doesn't necessarily mean just Japan. It could East Asia,
any
some
animation, that's right.
whatever. So please do so. Go ahead, Chris.
If
Want
there's
to say something?
something we talked about that you want an actual, like, us to do a review on, let us know that. Tell us.
Yes.
That way we can tailor around. Like if you say, "Listen, guys, no one really wants to hear about Shakespeare. We want you to
Yeah.
talk about
Because it
a
looks
movie
like
trivia."
the three of us wasted, because I don't think the other two watched it. The three of us wasted an hour and a half watching Macbeth to do a
Oh no,
podcast about
I
it
turned it off
that
after
no one
10 minutes.
cares about. So we rather watch something that we may or may not like that someone actually does care about. So,
That's right.
yes.
That's right. All right.
And you can tell us so by hitting us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Go ahead, Chris.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, everybody, and thanks for joining me, James and Brooks. Thanks for showing up. Those other guys.
Fuck them.
Jesus.
I won't. I won't be here next week.
Ouch.
I hope you guys have a fun time, and I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Safe travels, Chris.
I'm in New
Thank
York.
you. We'll see you later, everybody.
Yep.
Peace out.
Yes, sir.